Alright, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin, I'd like to give all praise, all glory, all honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. As always, I say Shalom unto the elect. Ladies and brother Isaiah, coming back to you with another video. Lord will, it is edifying. Right, and what I want you to look at today is the cry of the prophets. Right? So the prophets that make many different cries, right? But I want you to look at the cry of the prophets concerning Israel and why we're going through what we're going through and where is the end of it. Why these heathens above us, right? Because that is something I would have looked at within the world, right? Something that would have come across my mind in the world, never had an answer for it. No. Scripture talk about I'm trying to find the words to say it. Being underneath all these other false philosophies, all these other ideologies. As the psalmist will put it, I believe in Psalms 37 chapter, underneath every green bee. No, not underneath. I think that's Jeremiah the 2nd chapter. Underneath every green bay tree. Right? So you're within the world. You're going about some people, right? Your average so-called Christian. Right? Christianity is not thought-provoking ideology to get into, like, is them is the bottom of the barrel. Them is, you talk about crab in a barrel mindset. Them is the crabs are getting a chance to climb up. Them is the crabs, pulling down another crab to try and see if they can get out. Still end up in the bucket, right? Still, throw people underneath the bus to try and get out and still in the same position. But this sounds like I'm going to take off the do not disturb. Put it on. Right. So like about that. Yeah, but the Christians, the so-called Christians, them is crab in a barrel there's a crab in a barrel kind of doctrine. And them is the ones trying to climb to the top and get out. Them at the bottom of the barrel, just being crushed by the weight of the other crabs. And them rotting away and dying first, right? Because it was in a thought-provoking place to be, right? You know what? So like my helicopter just flew by, right? So like about the noise. But yeah, Christianity was in a thought-provoking place to be. For the simple fact, if you read the Bible, which they're not even reading the Bible, scripture talks about blessed is he that read it, they're not even reading the Bible. People who don't believe in the Bible or don't believe in so-called Christianity, them reading it more than the so-called Christians. Christians just going to church for. Like I'm sure I'm about to bring on more precepts in this video. And you watch our video from the apostles, right, from the elders. When they go live, they bring out far more precepts and understanding concerning the Bible in that 1 hour than you could get in if you go to church for an entire month. Right? So you see, they don't question anything. Right? If you simply watch the Bible concerning the Gentiles, so you just use the Gentile topic. Why did the Lord cast the Gentiles off? Like, as we're about to touch on that a little bit in this video, right? He counted the Gentiles as nothing in the eyes. So how could he count those people as nothing? And then you fast forward to the New Testament, which the intertestamental period is vital. Look at research, the silent years. Right? It's a 400 to 500 year period from the book of Malachi, right, till Matthew, till the New Testament. There's history not written there. Right? There are things that have taken place in the nation of Israel that are not written there. And the Christians won't go into that, they don't understand it. Right? Just jump from the Persian Empire, which Matthew was, to the Roman Empire, and skip out a whole beast and you lack the understanding concerning certain things. which they don't have it, so they just chalk it up. Yeah, we don't have it, like, we just go ahead, we have no, it's incomplete. You're unable to, rightly divide the word of truth without that. And as you state them written, that's why they don't ask no questions. Well, for one, they ain't reading to ask no questions, and for the few that do read, they don't ask no questions, just chalk it up to whatever we don't have, and we just go ahead and do it, right? So, thoughts that be coming to my mind, right? In the world, like, well, when you look at it from a logical standpoint, from the other ideologies where you have on offer other than Christianity, right? Other than Islam, right? You look at things like even Egyptology, Black Pan-Africanism, Rastafarianism. These things is, they won't bring salvation to our people, but, you dabble with them things, you sit down, and some of them they sit down and paint black people, right? So-called black people. For one, the wrong because they're grouping all black people together like we have the same nation. No, we may look similar, but we not have the same nation. Right? The so-called Hamite, the so-called Ethiopian, Egyptian, them is not the Israelites, right? But you sit down and you listen to the thoughts these people have to say. Even there's some woke jakes, right? Even if they're not subscribing to ideology, they understand that the system against them. They understand that the system was designed to keep a black man down, right? And you sit down and I would always ask the question, often ask the question, because how they used to present so-called black people as like we're the top race and yet. But we were manipulated into our own destruction, which, while can be done, right, or has been done according to the scriptures, which when you really understand the scriptures, you understand that that's just the curses playing out on the people. If you take away that understanding, right, you take away the true understanding of how this come upon the people, you don't have an answer within the world, right? You're not able to, get Matthew 11 chapter and verse. I'll read at 28. It says, Matthew 11 and 28. Come unto me, right? These are how Shai speaking. All ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Right? So you have to follow Yahweh Shai, John the 14th chapter and the 6th verse. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Right? So coming after Yahweh Shai or walking after Yahweh Shai, that is you take it a rest, a form of rest within the head, because the question I would always boggle in my mind was, if we the top people on the face of the earth, because you look at genetics, right? You look at who the woman after in today's society, right? Is Jake, right? On average, the top nation in the earth today, Esau and Edom, right? Them have control over the earth today. Them versus us. Look on average, so-called Jake, or not so-called Jake, a so-called black man, compared to a so-called white man, which is an Edomite, right, most likely. On average, you're stronger than them, you're taller than them, you're fitter than them, you're faster than them, right? So why you're smarter than them? You look at the average white man today, especially the average Edomite man in Babylon, which white man is the Edomite man majority, right? Speaking from a majority standpoint, yes. They dumb as fuck. You sit down and you wonder, right? They get this man control over the earth and look at what he's done on it. He's done nothing but destroy it, right? And it's paranoid to the point where if he goes to war today, he has a doctrine concerning war which is a mad doctrine. Literally is an acronym, MAD, MAD, mutually assured destruction, which this goes into if they destroy, or if they used to go into nuclear war with another country, right, the two countries will be wiped off the face of the earth. That is a doctrine they're pushing. Or even Israel talks about the Samson option. The state of Israel today speaks of the Samson option. They could research that, but is an ideology would have if I can't have it, no one can. That is the kind of ruler you're dealing with in the earth today. To maintain his rulership within the earth, will destroy the earth. That's the kind of man you're dealing with today. So how is he in charge and how am I underneath? right? You put Jake, even not even to the level of your regular Edomite today, but a more elevated position than he is today, right? You look at some of these rappers when they make the billions, the millions, I won't say billions, but they make the millions and they just rock back. That's some of them, right? You don't hear from them for years, but them they get what they wanted and they rock back, right? Jake is naturally a peaceable people now. That's not the general consensus for all of them, but still, some of them when they sit and they make the money, they rock back. When they give a Edomite man money, he seeks out to destroy the earth with it, right? So now I then have answers so that how are they above me? Why? Not how. Why are they above me? Yes, how and why. I could say that. How and why are they above me if I am better than them? Right? Scripture talks about the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but we find that answer, right? Because I say it was prophet's cry before I came to the truth, and I get the answer when I came to the truth. That is the Lord's doing. The curse is being played out upon us because unlike with these woke people go paint the pictures or with the um the other, obscure green bay trees in the earth, your Rastafarianism, your Black Pan-Africanism, your Egyptology, your Scientology, them go paint the pictures of black people was minding the business and then the white colonizers just come up upon them and them didn't deserve nothing that happened to them. Well, to the contrary, when you dive it in the scriptures, you find the answer there, right? But these scriptures, I come into this sanctuary, I certainly to, be at rest. Because if I wasn't, I would be an unstable man. If it was a thought-provoking person within the earth, especially a young black man within the earth, so-called black man within the earth, right? And you had them kind of answers coming to this sanctuary will help you get the answers. You had them kind of questions coming to this sanctuary will help you get the answers. Nobody else could give you a proper answer. None. It makes no sense. You're not supposed to be the top man in the world and somebody psychologically manipulate you. You have the best of everything, the smartest, tallest, strongest, fastest. Just minding your own business, you have your own kingdom and empire to govern. And then a white man who just like an abomination comes and tells you about Jesus Christ and let me just leave everything I have, my 10 wives, my 12 wives, my empire walking on a ground where a lot of gold is because they used to call the West Coast of Africa, the Gold Coast. Such was the amount of gold there. Literally, you could research that. They used to call there the Gold Coast. I believe the place which was producing the most gold was Senegal. I could be wrong, could do your research. But you're not going to leave that to go on a ship with somebody you don't know willingly, and it doesn't make sense. That doesn't make no sense if you don't apply the understanding of the scriptures, right? So I'm finish here. It said, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. Learn of Yahweh Shem Yosha. You learn I am through the scriptures. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find your rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, my burden is light. So your rest will enter within your spirit when you find out this, right? And also knowing that ultimate rest is coming. 2 Thessalonians 1 and 8. 1 and 7 to verse 8, right? Yahweh shall coming back to take flaming vengeance on the heathen. And them that know no power, yes, Yahweh shall coming back to deliver his people. They get answers to these questions, and when they come here, you won't get that in Christianity, you won't get that in no other form of theology, right? So now, with that in mind, you read 2nd Ezra, the first chapter, 2nd Ezra, the third chapter actually, Salakia. I read from verse 1. It says, in the 30th year, after the ruin of the city, right, so 30 years after Jerusalem was sacked, I was in Babylon and lay troubled upon my bed, and my thoughts came up over my heart. Right, so thoughts came into his mind. He says, for I saw the desolation of Zion and the wealth of them that dwell at Babylon. So similar sentiment that was expressed in Psalms, the 73rd chapter. It says, I was envious at the foolish, because you have to remember, when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, the foolish, the wicked, the same ones, right? They have been given control over the earth by the Most High. So at the 10th chapter and the 4th verse, the power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And in due time he will set up over it one that is profitable. In due time he will set up over the earth, the rulership of the earth, to one that is profitable. But when you go through prophecy, right, because explaining the prophecies was one of the ways of be addressed, right? My mind was eased. Genesis 27 chapter, the 30. I'll get the one with Jacob, then I'll get the one with Esau. Because concerning the scriptures, only two nations was prophesied to have full dominion over the earth. Right? Genesis 27 and verse 28. Therefore, power gave thee the dew of the blessing that was given unto Jacob from his father Isaac. It says, therefore, power gave thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. The fatness of the earth was given unto Jacob. The dew from heaven above was given unto Jacob. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed is he that blesseth thee. Right? And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. We go down now, Genesis 27 and verse 39, Salakia. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew from heaven above, similar blessing. Right? But pursuing to Genesis 25 and verse 23, it says, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other. Right? The one people is Jacob, the other people is Esau. Edom, and the elder shall serve the younger. So Esau right now within his blessing. The reason is seeing wickedness prosper within the earth is because the wicked will. Malachi 1 and 4, Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Right? Second Ezra 3, reading verse 3. It says, and my spirit was so moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High, and said, O Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, who bears rule, thou spakest at the beginning when thou didst plan the earth, and that thyself alone and commandest the people. I wanted to get to the point. Verse 30. Second Ezra 3 and 30. Right? For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning. Salah. So, Second Ezra 3 and 27, it says, and so thou gavest thy city over into the hands of thine enemies. Right? Give his people over into the hands of them whose be enemies. Are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babylon, that they should therefore have the dominion over Zion? So look at these people, they're seeing it now within the earth. These people not fit to rule the earth. These people not fit to have dominion over them, not even fit to have dominion over themselves, because they begin to abuse themselves. The scripture says in Psalms 51? No, it's Psalms 54? Psalms 53. And verse 2, it says, I saw that 1. Psalms 53 and 1, it says, see the chief musician upon the Mahalat, Maskil, a psalm of David. The fool had said in his heart, there is no power. Corrupt are they and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. power looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand that they'd seek power. So all the children of men references all the other nations upon the earth except for Israel. All the other nations on the earth except for Israel. Right? Every one of them is gone back. They are all together become filthy. There's none that do it good, no, not one. So I just was saying, well, you have to consider, look at these people, right? Them not better than Zion. Right? Them not worthy to dwell over Zion. Why you do this? Right? Similar sentiment, then ask you the same way because they know about Yahweh Hashem Shai. But you ask like why the wicked in charge? What them deserve to do to be in charge? All the wealth they have, all the prosperity they have, the scripture talk about the wealthy people supposed to help people. Right? You read that in is it? Well, Elias Shomba is called it like a welfare system. But trying to remember the chapter. Can't remember the chapter right now in Leviticus, but you would have like when you go to glean your grapes or to pick the fruits of your harvest, you won't wholly take everything off for yourself, right? You won't wholly, reap the field and keep everything to yourself. You will leave some for the poor, right? So these people who bear fruit today, they've taken everything to themselves. They've taken all the earth's wealth and resources. To the point where you just fighting and living day to day off fiat currency money that not even real. Why they hold all the real wealth, the gold, the silver, the land, the cattle, and force you to eat things like fucking. We saw in a video the other day a man, a butcher, who chopped off his wife's leg, right, and put that in the meat section in a store, and he was so dumb that these people were so dumb they could have at least cut up the leg. Now that is all abomination, May Yahweh Hashem bring that and destruction upon that man for trying to get people to buy that and eat that and freaking make themselves abominable with human flesh. But still, if you want to get rid of our body, do it right. These people can't even commit iniquity properly, and that what it is made to do. So dumb them are. Right? But these is the kind of people serving their meats. These are the kind of people, the wicked who being real high eating food when not real no more, breathing air that could kill you. Right? These people destroying the earth, as I would say, these people destroying the earth because they know they can't have it. That's what's going on with these people not fit to rule. So why they over we? Well, it's because we sin. Right? It is because we sin. 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter and the 18th verse, for we suffer these things of power, for we have sinned against him. Right? 2 Esdras 3 and verse 29. It says, for when I came thither and had seen impieties without number, then my soul saw so many evildoers in this 30th year, so that my heart failed me. Right? For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and I spared wicked doers. What the scripture talk about in Ecclesiastes, right? To comfort the brothers, seeing all this wickedness taking place in the earth. Right? How you supposed to feel? You're supposed to question the Most High. But this is the Lord allowing them to multiply the iniquities, right? To bring judgment upon them. Psalms before I come here. Psalms, I'll go here first and then I'll go to Psalms 75. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times and his days be prolonged. So yeah, the Lord give you the way to do your sinners continually as much as they want to do it. Yet, surely I know that it shall be well with them, right, the elect, that fear power, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feared not before power. So, yet, although these people prosper within the year, their reign is but a short time. Scripture talk about in Job 20 and 5. Okay. 20 and right. Job 20 from verse, I don't know why it's showing 8 there. Job 20 from 4, it says, "No, it's not thou this of old, since man was placed upon the earth." So since from the beginning, and I mean, I say from the beginning, when I say the beginning, I mean from when was man on the fifth day, right? So from the 5,000 year till now, verse 5, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the clouds of heaven, and his head return to the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? So yeah, although the wicked might be in rulership and authority today, right, they ultimately, right, we know scripture say they was given a little season. And then compared to the reign that the children of Zion gonna have in the kingdom, it really is a little season. Right? All these empires, 250, no empire has more than 250 years. Right? They're in the 250th year this year. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, every 250 years, or there among that time, some was a little bit shorter, only one or so reached past the 250 mark. And that empire lasted for 263 years, but Babylon won't last for 13 more years. I could guarantee that. Right? Scripture talk about a short work the Lord will make. Right? I'm seeing all the plans come at our head. And the Lord about to destroy this place. Right? The triumphing and the wicked is really short. Psalms 126 says we were like them that dream. Right? When the Lord turned back the captivity of Zion, we was like them that dream. Our dream is but for a moment. Right? All this heartache and pain and pressure we're going to go through or going through currently is what for a moment compared to what we're going to receive within the kingdom. And their rulership was but for a moment. The scripture talk about in Revelation 12 and 12 because he knew that he had but a short time. So now, when you go to Psalms, the 75th chapter, why is the Lord allowing them to have rain? Psalm 75 and verse 8. Right. For in the hand, I read from verse 4. Psalm 75 and 4. It says, "I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked lift not up thy horn." Right? Lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. For promotion cometh neither from east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But power is the judge. All who have control, authority, dominion within the earth, that was given unto you from Yahweh Shem Yosha. And we see within the scriptures, examples within the scriptures, his own people, right? Imagine if his own people failed him and he brought judgment upon them, what is he going to do concerning the rest of the people on the earth? Come on. For in the hand of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yosha there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture. He poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. Right? So this cup here representative of what? All the indignation, all the righteous judgment the Lord is going to bring upon the wicked. All of them going to drink it. So the Lord allowing that cup to full. Right? The Lord allowing all the iniquities to pile up to bring a great judgment upon them. That's what the Lord doing now. Alright? Then we go back to the second Ezra 3 and verse, what was that? 30. That's 30, right? Second Ezra 3 and 34. I've seen how thou sufferest them sinning and spared wicked ways, which they really hadn't been spared, right? And has destroyed thy people, and has preserved thine enemies, and has not signified it. I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion, which are not? Right? They're not. Or is there any scripture talk about the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor? Or is there any other people that know thee besides this or none? Amos, the 3rd chapter, the 1st verse, 2nd verse. Amos 3:2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. You go to, let me see if you know something. Isaiah, because all the prophets share the similar sentiment. What is this one? Yeah. Are we going through all of this? Isaiah 63 and verse 17, it says, O Lord, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways, and harden our heart from thy fear? Because this is what put me in such a destitute position, us turning away from Yahweh Shem Shai. Return for thy servant's sake the tribes of thine inheritance. Right? The people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while. Right? 80 years we had 40 years David established a kingdom with all these heathens in subjection, and then it says 2 Samuel, the 8th chapter, gave that account. Right? And then Solomon established a kingdom for 40 years apiece after that. Right? It's just pain and pressure. Constantly had to fight against your enemies. Constantly had to go into captivity after captivity. Right? Constantly had to be beaten with the rod of the Lord. While our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary, verse 19, we are dying, thou never bearest rule over them. They will not call by thy name. Right? So the Lord only ever cared about his people. So why are we going through all of this? Sin against our Father. Right? Malachi 1 also says it. Malachi 1, is it? No, I don't think it's 14. Let me see. Malachi 1 and 10. Let me see. No. Malachi 1 and 6. Malachi 1, reading verse 6. His son honored his father, and his servant his master. If then I be a father, right, because the Most High is your father, where is my honor? And if I be a master, where is my fear? Right? Said the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai of hosts unto you, O priests that despise my name. And he said, wherein have we despised thy name? Right? So we sin against we power. Right? We do the wrong. So we had to pay. That was the agreement we make. Let me see if I can find an agreement. All the nation of Israel said we will do. We do. Right. Exodus 19 and verse 7. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their face all these words which the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai had spoken, we will do. When you read it in the law, anytime you break anything the Most High commanded or spoken for you to do, you had to pay the penalty. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. So what both of you now make an agreement that the Lord said do this, you said we will do this, you failed to do this, where the Lord had to fulfill his word. That is Daniel 9 and all the words confirmed by the right. Daniel 9 and 12. It says, yeah, all Israel, outside of 11, yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses against, written in the law of Moses, the servant of power, because we have sinned against him. Let's see something here. Let's see if I get that again in a different translation. Not a different translation. You see how much time it gets if Daniel mentioned. So like if it is cross-referenced, and how many times? So yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing them, that they might not obey thy voice, and therefore the curse is poured upon us. and all that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of power. See how much time we talk about the oath. How much time the oath was confirmed. But that is one account in Exodus 19. And none of that ain't coming to my mind right now. See if I see another one. Cross reference. Wrong with me, I can just read in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. Salakia. Let's see what they say. I tell them that I mention the oath more often, but you just get Deuteronomy 28 and 15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yoshai thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Right? You see this cross reference back to Daniel 9. Yeah, look. If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yoshai thy power, Daniel 9 day. See, we'll show it here. Daniel 9 from 11 to 13, it says, "Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and all that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of power, because we have sinned against him. And he had confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole heaven had not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet we made not our prayer before the Lord Yahweh Shem Yoshai power." Okay, if you read Solomon prayer, right, 2 Chronicles 7 and 14, right, it says, "If thy people which are called by thy name shall humble themselves," so okay, "if thy people which are called by thy name shall humble themselves and cry unto the Lord Yahweh Shem Yoshai, will hear from heaven and the earth." Roughly paraphrasing, I'll get after, right? "That we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth." We go to Solomon, 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. It says, "If my people," 2 Chronicles 7 and 14, "which are called by my name, Israel, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal their land." Right? Right? So you see the cry. All the prophets made the cry. Daniel made the cry. Isaiah made the cry. I brought out Isaiah. Just get another one. Habakkuk 1. Yeah, Habakkuk 1 from 1. It says, "The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see, O Lord Yahweh Shem Yoshai, how long shall I..." "How long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear, even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save?" Because the nation of Israel going through some shit, man. They're going through shit. "Why dost thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there that rise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth." Right? I'll read that in another transition and I'll close. Habakkuk 1 from 1 to 4 in the CLD GNT read it.
I like it. It's mine. The prices blow my mind. I feel so rich. I feel like a billionaire. I'm shopping like a billionaire. I'm shopping like a billionaire.
Habakkuk 1 and verse 1, it says, This is a message that the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai revealed to Habakkuk the prophet. Then the title from 2 to 4, it says, Habakkuk complains of injustice. It says, O Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, how long must I call for help before you? Listen before you save us from violence. Right? Because the prophets wanted to be delivered from the shit they're going through. But we know only the elect could get delivered. Isaiah 1 and verse 8, 9, 10. Right? Except the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been like unto some, we should have been like Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Right? It says, Why do you make me see such trouble? Habakkuk 1 and 3. How long can you stand on such wrongdoing? Yeah, why you make a move? Right? The real shit we're going through here. But we had to go through it. Second is verse 4. Four and I'll read from 28. It says, But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown. So evil has been sown within the earth. Evil like a seed has been placed within the earth, planted within the earth, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Because Esau and Jacob, if you tie it back to Esau and Jacob, Esau also had to have the rule. So Esau, second Ezra 6 and verse 9, so Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it. That follow them had to have the rule for the Lord to get rid of them. Proverbs 16 and 4, yeah, the Lord had created all things, even the evil or even the wicked, for the day of destruction. For the grain of evil seed had been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness has it brought up unto this time? And how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come? Ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed hath brought forth. And when the heirs shall be cut down, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill? Then I answered and said, How? And when shall these things come to pass? Therefore our years few and evil. And he answered me saying, so when this gonna end, right? He answered me saying, Do not thou hasten above the Most Highest, for thy haste is in vain to be above him, for thou hast much exceeded. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask question of these things in their chambers, saying, How long shall I hope on this fashion, when cometh the fruit of the flow of our reward? And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, Even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he had weighed the world in the balance. By measure he measured the times, and by number that he numbered the times. And he doth not move nor stir them until the set of measure be fulfilled. So we had to go through that. You're not gonna pluck up the evil seed before time. The evil seed had to take root, it had to germinate, it had to grow up to be a green bay tree, as Psalms 37 chapter 4. Therefore I see the wicked spreading himself like a green bay tree. A green bay tree had to spread. It had to spread for it to then be rooted up. Right? Finish Habakkuk 1 and verse. I was at 3. I'll start back at 3. Why do you make me see such trouble? How can you stand to look on such wrongdoing? Destruction and violence are all around me, and there's fighting and quarreling everywhere. The law is weak and useless, right? They make void thy law, nobody in keeping it. the wicked and establish it within the earth in their reign, them going after their own laws. Daniel 7:25, they shall seek to change times and laws and shall be given into their hands for a time and the dividing of time. And justice is never done. Evil people get the better of the righteous, and so justice is perverted. Why did the Lord have that to happen? So he can bring judgment upon them and to teach us the error of our ways. Right? Because we ultimately going to be the ones that are the rule this earth. Lord will be a part of the Lord elect. Now the Lord elect, I'm going to say it like that, then the Lord elect is going to be the ones that are to rule this earth. So them had to go through them. They had to go through righteous and unrighteous judgment. They had to go through the method of how to judge properly. How to examine, simple as examining a matter before you judge it. Right? They had to be put in a position in which a matter was not examined properly. Right? For you to feel that pain and pressure and heartbreak and turmoil. They sit down and say, well, no, if it was me, I would have never do it like that. I would have do it more justly. And then you had to be put in a position where you did it justly. And you see the rewards of doing it justly. Right? So when the kingdom is established, you as a man of the Lord, one of the 144,000's righteous judgment going to proceed. 1,000 years of torment, Esau going to be put through, that is righteous judgment. Slavery with the heathens going to be put underneath for that 1,000 years, that is righteous judgment, for they did it unto us. Right? So Lord will, this video was edifying, and that you all were edified and close. And I say, Kal, Balalium La, Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and others of great men, so as always I say shalom unto the elect.